You're tuned into Reverberation 4. This one's about identity erosion. Not the kind that kicks your door down, the kind that whispers through the drywall and rewrites your name in dry erase marker. Roles, status, masks. And as the grand performance that keeps you smiling while you bleed out through your personality. Content warning: this episode contains emotional reprogramming, holiday psychological warfare, shame loops disguised as family values, and a guest appearance by the Dead Milkman, which, frankly, should be warning enough. If that's not your flavor, feel free to exit stage left. But if you're still with us, echoes up, curtains already rising, no understudies, no rewrites, just a man, some masks, and a mirror that won't stop talking back.
You ever wonder how many roles you've played? Not jobs, not hobbies. Roles. The kind you never auditioned for. Ones they cast you in before you could even walk. The quiet one. The smart one. The difficult one. Maybe you were the golden child. Maybe you were the problem. Or maybe, like Echo, you were all of them, depending on who was watching. Some people think roles are harmless, just little labels, just words. But roles, they come with costumes, scripts, blocking notes. And the audience? They're always watching, even when you're off stage. See, roles don't just shape how others see you. They shape how you move, what you think you're allowed to want, who you believe you are. That's status, the invisible hierarchy, sometimes spoken, mostly not. It tells you where to stand, who to speak to, how loud you're allowed to be. And the thing is, status isn't fixed. It moves, it bends, it can be taken or earned or broken. Some people rise, some people vanish, and some like Echo, learn to live beneath it. He didn't fight the roles. He learned them, mastered them, wore them like second skin, not to perform, but to survive. That's how identity erodes, not all at once, just slowly, quietly, until what's left doesn't question the mask because it forgot there was ever a face beneath it. They told him who he had to be, so he became it, all of it, until one day he couldn't tell where the act ended and the real him began. That's the trick, isn't it? Do roles shape our status? Or does status assign the roles? Tonight, Echo doesn't have an answer, but he has a mirror, and he finds himself asking, "Mirror, mirror on the wall,
who am I?"
Chapter 1. Rehearsals begin. You ever get the feeling you were cast in a show you don't remember auditioning for? Where the lines are already written, the costumes pre-picked, and the only direction you're given is, "Smile for the camera, kid." Yeah. That's where we open. Echo's about to try on some roles. Some will fit, some will itch, but they all come with stage lights, expectations, and an audience that never blinks. Curtains up. Let's see who he becomes when the script runs out.
They start early, don't they? Teachers, parents, strangers in grocery store aisles. They say things like, "You're so mature," when what they really mean is, "You don't complain." "You're so smart," which really means, "You make my job easier." "You're so calm." That one always meant, "You don't scare me." I learned to hear the roles behind the compliments, to shape myself around them, because that's how you earn approval. And approval feels like love when you've never actually seen the real thing. So I played the part over and over until performance became personality. And eventually, I gave up. There wasn't anything left to protect. Nothing left to resist with. By then, I wasn't even sure who I was resisting for. That's the moment identity doesn't just erode, it caves in.
Chapter 2. Costume Changes. Right about here is where the soundtrack kicks in. Echo's not changing, he's quick changing. Swapping roles like jackets in a thrift store mirror, trying on new masks before the last one hits the floor. And then, boom! Punk rock kicks the damn wall in. The Dead Milkmen, crude, loud, beautifully stupid. They didn't want a revolution. They wanted to mock the whole damn stage play. And somehow, that was enough to make a kid believe maybe the whole world didn't need fixing. Just a different kind of laughter track. Spotlight's warming up. Echo's about to riff.
Some roles come with perks. A little status. A little safety. Just enough to keep you from asking questions. Be the funny one. People don't look too close. Be the helper. They keep you around. Be the quiet one. No one expects too much from you. Be the smart one. They assume you're okay because you're useful. I tried them all on. Mixed and matched. Changed roles mid-scene if it kept the peace. I was an understudy in my own damn life. Swapping masks between breaths. And the worst part? It worked. But then, right when it felt like the roles were all there was, punk rock crashed through the wall. The Dead Milkmen. Crude, loud, funny as hell. They didn't try to fix anything. They just made fun of the whole damn thing. And for the first time, I heard someone say, "It's okay, Stuart. I like you. You're not like the others." Here, in the trailer park. That line stuck. Because it meant maybe there was room in the world for someone like me. Not as a role, but as a whole.
Chapter 3. The Director's Cut. This part ain't easy. This is the part where the director walks on stage. And she brings her own kind of violence. She doesn't yell. She corrects. She doesn't punish. She teaches lessons. And she's not directing a play. She's rewriting the rules. Mid-scene, while you're still bleeding from the last take. Some kids get stage fright. Others get stage trauma. You want to know what happens when the director's got final cut and a grudge? You learn to mime your pain. Curtain's still up, spotlight's still on, and you're acting like you're not already broken.
I was 9, my brother 6, and like most kids, you peeked. Found the Christmas presents a week early, couldn't quite rewrap them right. She noticed, and her whole face lit up, not with disappointment, with opportunity. She told us there'd be no Christmas under the tree this year, said it like a sentence handed down, and when we started crying, she didn't flinch, she smiled. We turned on each other fast. It's your fault, you shouldn't have looked. Crying, screaming, yelling at her, yelling at each other. And she stood in the doorway, watching, feeding. That whole week we were at war, and every tear made her smile wider. She loved it, the chaos, the blame, the desperation. It was entertainment, and we were the show. Christmas was on a Sunday that year. Same day as my aunt's birthday. We used to wake her up at the crack of dawn, sing off key into the phone just so the cousins could open their stuff early. But that year we woke up to nothing. No presents, no lights, just silence and spite. And we lost it. 9 and 6 years old, no fucking Christmas presents, no joy. Just this slow, cold punishment dragging into morning. And still, we had to go to church, Sunday school, because there's a quarter a kid, for an hour of peace. A whole week. That's what we were worth. 50 cents for quiet. I think she liked that math. We're getting ready to leave, heading down through the basement, and there they are. The presents, our presents, hidden under a tiny little tree, tucked away, on display. We asked if we still had to go to church, and she said yes. No hesitation, no mercy. She watched the hope drain from our faces and beamed. We cried, we begged. She handed us our quarters, turned us toward the door, and didn't even look back. 9 to 10 a.m., Sunday school. Roads were garbage. We got home around 10:30. We thought maybe, finally. But no. Couldn't open anything. We had to go to Grandma's. Had to see Fred and Pa. Because she said so. Because Dad was coming at noon. And her checklist came first. And she loved dragging it out. She relished it, watching us squirm, watching us do the math in our heads. When would we get to open them? Would we get to open them? Were they even real? When we came back from Dad's, they were still there, still wrapped, still untouched, still forbidden. And then she said it was our fault. That if we'd just looked harder, if we'd found them in the basement sooner, we could have had them. That we'd cried and screamed and acted like babies for no reason. Like the punishment wasn't the point. Like the pain was just our own failure. And she loved saying that. She loved watching us try to make sense of it, twist ourselves into knots trying to believe her, because if it was our fault, then maybe next time we could fix it. That basement became a museum, a gallery of grief. The little tree was a spotlight. The gifts were glassed in. Not for giving, for withholding. We'd sneak down just to stare, not to hope, not anymore. Just to remember what it felt like to want. And she watched us. She'd stand at the top of the stairs sometimes, just long enough for us to notice. Just long enough to let us know. She saw. And she liked it. We didn't open those presents until days later, and by then, it didn't feel like joy. It felt like guilt, like failure, like a test we barely passed. That's the year I learned love comes with terms, joy comes with proof, and roles. Roles are how you keep from being punished. Time passed, we got older, learned not to look for magic where it wasn't allowed. Holidays got quieter, safer, in that don't expect too much kind of way. We stopped peeking, stopped hoping, learned the rules, learned our roles. If I smiled enough, helped out, didn't ask for things, she stayed calm. That's how you survive in some houses. You shrink, you perform, you forget, but some things don't stay buried and some ghosts come back in cupboards. By this time I was living with my dad, just turned 18. The courts couldn't force me to visit her every other weekend anymore. I went back to her house just to make sure I had everything, tie up loose ends, clean break. There were these old metal cupboards in the basement, always had junk piled in front of them. We never opened them, not once. I figured, what the hell, might as well check. Maybe some old toy, something left behind. So I cleared everything out, moved the junk, opened the door, and there it was. My 10th birthday present from my dad. A red beaded jacket, the real one, all the zippers, everything. I wore it everywhere for a week when I got it. Couldn't stop smiling. And then one day, it was gone. I looked everywhere, tore the house apart, asked my mom. She told me I must have lost it, that I left it somewhere, that it was my fault, and I believed her. That weekend when Dad came to pick us up, it was dark out, late. I remember the headlights in the driveway. He asked me, "Hey, where's your jacket?" And I had to tell him. I didn't know. I lost it. I was crying. I felt like shit. He didn't say much, but I could see it. That disappointment. Like I wasn't careful enough what he gave me, like I didn't deserve it. And really, I didn't lose it. She took it. Just like she took Christmas, just like she took anything that came from him. Because I reminded her too much of my father, and she couldn't stand that. I didn't find that jacket again for 8 years. 8. And when I opened that cupboard, it wasn't just relief, it was fury, pure, shaking, quiet rage. Because it meant I hadn't failed, I hadn't lost it, I hadn't been careless. She just couldn't let me have something that made me feel loved. And the truth is, I shouldn't have been surprised. I should have expected it. That's the kind of mother she was. And there was another thing she liked to do. I remember when we lived at 110 First Street, Dad had just dropped us off 2 minutes late, just 2 minutes past 7. She yanked us inside, slammed the door, locked it, and sat on the couch, one of us under each arm, like she was bracing for war. My dad asked if he could give us a hug before he left, and she lost it. Started screaming at him, "Get the fuck out of here. I'll call the fucking cops. You're not touching my fucking kids." All because he was 2 minutes Years later, it didn't stop. Every holiday we split, alternated Thanksgiving and Christmas between houses. One year, Dad got us up the hill, dropped us at Fred and Pa's, 5 minutes late. That's it. And she made a scene, screamed in front of everyone, threatened jail, cops, ruined the whole day, and then complained about it for the rest of it, because it was never about the time. It was about the control. She told me once, "Your father's an asshole, and you're just like him, so you should know." And in her mouth, that was never just a comparison. It was a curse.
You play enough roles, one will eventually stick, even if it's the one they only hand out when they're done pretending to understand you.
Out of all the roles I played, only one ever stuck for good. The problem. Not because I wanted it, because I couldn't fix myself fast enough to be anything else. Once they label you difficult, they stop reading the script. Doesn't matter what you do next. You're a rewrite no one asked for. And when you're the problem, your silence is seen as defiance. Your confusion looks like disrespect. Your survival looks like attitude. That role doesn't come with lines, just stage directions like sit down, be quiet, don't make a scene. So I learned to disappear on cue. But disappearing doesn't mean you stop thinking. I was smart, too smart, and way too introspective. I'd sit with my thoughts and spiral, try to make sense of it all, of people, of power, of pain, and eventually I hit that wall we all hit, the Pink Floyd one, the moment you realize maybe we're all just bricks, stacked, labeled, measured, and broken as needed.
Masks crack, questions loop, and Echo stares himself down in a mirror that won't stop talking back.
I used to think if I could just find the right role, the right combination of traits, someone would finally see me. That maybe I'd earn a spot in the script instead of being cut in the first draft. But that's the lie, isn't it? The roles were never meant to protect me. They were meant to protect them. From my grief, my rage, my truth. Because the real me, too loud, too soft, too complicated. So I buried him beneath layers of performance until I couldn't even see the man in the mirror and was just a face rehearsing how to be a person. But lately, something's shifting. Not big, not loud, just small ruptures in the mask. I catch myself thinking things like, what if I didn't apologize? What if I said no? What if I let them see the version of me that doesn't play well with others? And I don't mean all at once, not some dramatic tear-away reveal, but maybe I stop adjusting the costume. Maybe I forget my lines on purpose. Maybe I step off stage and see what the silence feels like. But then the questions come. If I'm not any of the roles they gave me, then what am I? If I stop performing, will anyone care? If I show them the real me, will they even recognize him? Will I? And that's where I get stuck. Because I keep chasing freedom in a loop built on shame. Can't react. Can't be seen. Can't make a connection. Can't let them know I want one. So I protect myself by wearing the role, by disappearing, by surviving. And around it goes. And so I'm not even a person anymore. I'm just a pattern.
Just the Ouroboros.
Roles come and go. But some masks, they grow roots. And by the time you try to pull them off, you're not sure what's underneath.
You ever watch someone get real quiet right before they say something true? Echo's not always loud when he breaks. Sometimes it's the silence that cracks first. That stillness before a whisper that sounds a little too rehearsed. I've seen him walk into a room like he's not sure he's allowed to be there. Seen him pause at the edge of a couch like he needs a director's cue to sit down. Roles, status. The masks we're handed before we can even talk. In the beginning, I said they cast us young, before we know how to say no, before we learn what yes even means. And Echo? He got all the roles, the golden child, the problem, the quiet one, the smart one. He wore them like layers until no one could see the skin underneath. And now, he's peeling them off, slowly. Some tear, some flake. Some he sets down gently, like he's not sure who'll miss them more, him or the people who expected him to keep wearing them. But watching him now, I wonder, how many masks am I still wearing? And which ones have I forgotten how to remove? I used to think I wasn't playing a role, that I was just me, comfortable, observing, detached. But maybe that's a role too, the narrator, the guide, the voice on the edge of the stage that never steps into the light. And if that's true, what else have I made myself forget? What have I learned to say just right, so no one asks how I'm really doing? How many of us are still playing a part, just because it's easier than rewriting the scene? I don't have the answers, but I do have these questions, and I'll leave them here, not to solve, but to plant, like seeds, in case you're ready to grow something different.
I just want to say, the dead milkmen don't get enough credit. Because if you've ever found yourself yelling about right-wing pigeons from outer space while eating a gas station burrito at 2 a.m., you owe those weird bastards a thank you. They showed us you could be angry and absurd. That mockery was a survival skill. That sometimes you have to make the world laugh so it stops trying to swallow you whole. Anyway, right, back on track. If you felt this one, don't just ghost out. Hit the button, leave a comment. Tell Echo which mask you're working on taking off. Or just leave your favorite Dead Milkmen lyric and confuse the algorithm. Either way, we see you.